A tentacle monster who destroyed 70% of the moon now threatens to destroy planet Earth. However, he offers mankind and womankind a chance to overcome this ordeal by allowing him to teach a classroom of students regular school subjects as well as the art of assassination. The objective of the students in Class 3E of Kurigaka Junior High School is to assassinate their homeroom teacher within a year's time. The government offers 10 billion yen to the student who successfully assassinates the tentacle monster.
Damn, that's a whole lot of money. I can buy a lot of bananas with that.
Assassination Classroom. The next day, the students are introduced to their new teacher, aka Mr. Tentacle Monster. The government supplies the students with anti-tentacle weapons, and thus, the assassination attempt begins. After seeing their teacher move at supersonic speed, the students soon realize that they're He is then given the name of Kuro-sensei, which means unkillable teacher in Japanese. As time passes, more plot begins to thicken, THICCEN, and by that, I mean a lot more plot. The students begin to grow an emotional attachment to their teacher because they soon realize that he's not as bad as they say he is, which eventually separates the classroom into two groups, one who wants to kill him, the other who wants to save him. And so the other teachers decide to set up a competition for the two groups in hopes of reuniting them. The group who wants to save Kuro-sensei wins the competition, which leads to the group who wants to kill him to side with them. Now, let's take a step back and talk about what really happened to Kuro-sensei and how he came to be. Kuro-sensei was initially a cold-hearted human assassin. He was betrayed by his apprentice and abducted by a group of scientists who experimented on him. Turns out, this group of scientists were the cause of the destroyed moon as a result of a failed experiment. While he was held captive, he fell in love with a female scientist who told him stories about her students in Class 3E. Yeah, that's the same class he's currently teaching. After many experiments, he begins to develop unnatural powers. He takes advantage of his powers and attempts to escape. Throughout his escape, he destroys the facility which held him captive. Unfortunately, in the process, the woman he fell in love with dies. With her dying breath, she tells him that he could have been something more than just a cold-blooded killer. After escaping the scene, his body begins to transform into his tentacle form. He then begins to think of what the woman he loved told him before she died, and decides to teach the students in Class 3E. We then find out that because of the experiments, he was given a limited lifespan of 1 year. His body would eventually explode after that. As time passes, the government decides to take action to eliminate Kuro-sensei themselves. They trap him in an anti-tentacle barrier and launch a laser which initially misses him. His former apprentice injects himself with the same serum Kuro-sensei was injected with. He then returns in hopes of killing him within the anti-tentacle barrier. As Kuro-sensei and his old apprentice fight it out, the students of Class 3E watch as their teacher fights and cheer for his victory. Kuro-sensei ultimately wins the battle but is weakened and no longer able to move. The students then notice the government recharging the blast, so they run to warn their teacher. Kuro-sensei then asks all his students to gather around him to perform their initial task of assassinating him. In a tear-jerking moment, Kuro-sensei begins to perform his final roll call. Afterwards, he is then stabbed in the heart by Nagisa, which causes his body to fade away.